On Capitol Hill. Now back to TV One's Washington Watch with Roland Martin.
Two new movies, folks. Tyler Perry's Madea's Big Happy Family and Bishop T.D. Jakes' Jumping the Broom are both drawing praise as well as some criticism. Critics argue the characters aren't realistic, while others say the movies tackle crucial issues like marriage and family that need to be addressed openly in all communities, but specifically African Americans. Here to praise, and I suspect also criticize some of the elements of both films, are the creators of the blog BlackandMarriedWithKids.com, husband and wife team Lamar and Ronnie Tyler, Sophia Nelson, author of Black Woman Redefined, and Jenks Morton, the man behind the documentary What Black Men Think. Everybody, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Just finished chatting with Bishop T.D. Jakes, obviously, one of the producers of the film, also along with Our Stories, with Tracy Edmonds works with. And it's very interesting when you see the reaction, because I think with this film, folks were like, oh, this is great, this is wonderful. You're seeing the real issues when it comes to African Americans in marriage. But when I also saw Tyler Perry's Madea's Big Happy Family, I also saw two married couples dealing with the drama in the relationships, yet folks don't want to talk about that issue when it comes to marriage. What do you make of that?
Well, think about it. Jumping the Broom was much more positive. It was a lovely setting. It was up in the vineyard. It was beautiful, and everybody was kind of happy. In the in the Tyler Perry adaptation of this last movie that he did, I saw it was rough. People were arguing and nasty, and it wasn't a pretty scene, so folks don't want to deal with that.
Now, I want to play a clip from Tyler Perry's Madea's Big Happy Family. So, folks, check this out.
Man, I know it's your sister, and I'm sorry, but sometimes, man, you make me so,
You better be quiet. You know she can hear you.
But y'all playing. But she can really hear like that. I mean, like a dog.
What is wrong with your sisters, Byron?
Man, what is wrong with women, period?
She's always mad. And it seems like the longer that we're married, the worse it gets.
On that.
Maybe her and Tammy going through menopause or something.
Oh, it ain't no menopause with Tammy. Tammy was like that when we first met.
Wow.
Now, the reality is, that is reality. I've seen guys have the same conversation who are frustrated in their marriages with different elements. And so why is it that we are afraid to actually have that kind of discussion, actually see it?
I don't think it's fear. I think it's disproportionate representation. We're not saying that it doesn't occur, but when Hollywood tries to portray black marriage, black family, or the black experience, they won't take the mosaic. They'll take the fray, the dramatic, and over-exaggerate it as that's the normative behavior of what we do.
But that isn't the only film, because frankly, I can stand here and talk about Love Jones. I can talk about The Wood. I can talk about Brown Sugar. I can talk about The Best Man. I can talk about any number of films where you have had the relationship drama in those films, but also in the Tyler Perry films, at the end of them, the couple doesn't divorce. Right. You also have redemption. You also are confronting the drama in the relationships, and so you might see it, but you also are not seeing the brokenness at the end of it as well. So we have to acknowledge that as well. Thoughts?
You know, I think along the lines of what Jenks was saying, when we look at films like, Madea's, the last film that came out, it's the construct of how many of those films are being made. You know, how many films, I think when T.D. Jakes comes out with a movie like Jumping the Broom, people are so excited to see successful African-American families in those films. You know, they're excited to see us just defined in a different way.
But is it a question, though, of seeing successful African-American films, or the point that Sophia talked about, that is, they're on the vineyard, these folks are having the jobs, but the reality is, whether they're on the vineyard and successful, or whether they are broke as all get out, the problems in the marriages are still the same.
What the hunger is, especially with Lamar, they've got a great film. It's a positive representation of black marriage. People were hungry, and it's not just to sit in front of the wide screen and see something that you know exists. We're not going to. Right. We want to see something that reflects more of what our experience is.
Yeah, reflects the spectrum. I noticed with T.D. Jakes' movie, why did both mothers have to be over the top angry? There could be some balance. And and the same with the Madea movie, African American women are just being portrayed as angry. I mean, that's the overall theme when I walked away from it.
I've seen romantic comedies. I've seen Candace Bergen in films, the one with Reese Witherspoon, I think it was Sweet Home Alabama. Right. And let's just say she wasn't the most wonderful, nice, positive as well. And so, let's just be honest.
Most stereotype role.
But I'm making a point, and that is, aren't we sometimes so sensitive in that we want to see, because when we say positive film, let's be honest, movies are called dramas for a reason. Because people like drama. Whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, we like drama. And so when you have all sugar and it's all saccharin, let's just be honest, we're not necessarily running around trying to go see it.
But pick up on Ronnie's point, the images of the two black mothers in Jumping the Broom, and I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, they were very stereotypical. They were the extreme. The Angela Bassett character was the bougie vineyard mom with the jacked up marriage, drinking, kind of whatever, and then the other mom was from Brooklyn. She was just not nice to this young woman. She even tried to wreck the marriage up at one point, or the to-be marriage, and it was the stereotypes of angry versus bougie black women. None of them were happy, which was the bad news in the story. So, you know, but I think that Not Easily Broken, which is another T.D. Jakes film, I thought was fabulous, because even though it dealt with the hardship of marriage and what happens, as you said, it had a good ending that if we stick together, and these guys are all more qualified than I as being the unmarried person here to talk about this, then you can make it.
And how many of us saw Not Easily Broken?
That's all.
How much money did it make this opening weekend? Didn't make $15.7 million. I mean, Down in the Delta, I could talk about that film. I could talk about Meet the Browns. Angela Bassett played in that movie, Falling in Love with Rick Fox, same thing. My point there is, it's very interesting when we talk about certain films, our audiences still determine, the audience at the end of the day will determine what they want to see.
What we produce.
So we can criticize what we see on the screen, but when the audiences say, I want to see that, aren't they also making a call?
Definitely. I still think that's one of the largest problems in the African-American community. We profess so much how we don't want films like Madea, how we don't want these stereotypical films in New Age black exploitation. We call them shucking and jiving. But like you said, on Friday afternoon, those are all the films we're lining up down the block to see.
Also, in both of these films, you also have faith. And so it's interesting, you would see all of those elements in the films, but people still would say, yeah, but it still had this. So at some point, isn't the satisfaction that we have Madea's Big Happy Family and Jumping the Broom, so therefore folks are satisfied?
Sure. I mean, yeah. We had options this weekend.
You didn't want to give that up. You notice how you didn't want to give that up. She's kind of like, yeah. Oh man, see, you didn't want to give that up.
That's what I go through.
I did.
See?
No, you're right. I mean, it's just a peculiar. I mean, even Harry. Well, anyway, it's been written about over our history about how we're hypercritical. We have been lambasted and stereotyped and shown these less than desirable behaviors, just put onto the American psyche and our psyche, which then reflects on how we think about ourselves.
And I'll tell you, at the end of the day, Hollywood is about drama, conflict. That is the reality. Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, it does not matter. That's what people like. They love drama. Real Housewives of Washington, D.C., not that much drama, got canceled. The other shows, they're still in the air. Folks, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
All right, folks.